I'm very proud to present SB 1395. SB 1395 is a simple measure that sends a much-needed signal regarding the abuse of animals in the state of California. Crimes against animals is a growing concern. Starting this year, the FBI now acts on cruelty against animals alongside felony crimes like arson, burglary, assault, and homicide in the FBI's expansive criminal database. The American Humane Society, in conjunction with the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, released a study with some very troubling statistics. 70% of animal abusers also had records for other crimes. 71% of pet-owning women entering women's shelters reported that their batterer had injured, maimed, killed, or threatened family pets for revenge or to psychologically control their victims. Even more troubling, abusers may kill, harm, or threaten a child's pets in order to coerce them into sexual abuse or to force them to remain silent about abuse. As the National Sheriff's Association pointed out, if somebody is harming an animal, there is a good chance they are also hurting a human. If we see patterns of animal abuse, the odds are something else is going on, which brings me to SB 1395. SB 1395 recognizes that animal abuse is a serious crime and needs a much stronger penalty than the one associated with it currently. The bill proposes to double the financial penalty for committing an act of animal abuse and raise the prison sentences in the triad from 16 months, 2 years, and 3 years to 2 years, 3 years, and 4 years. This enhanced penalty would be the same as the penalty for domestic violence under Penal Code 243D. This is a small but important step. California has been a strong advocate in protecting those without a voice. With SB 1395, we can once again say that Californians will take a tougher stance against the abuse and torture of animals. And I'm especially happy today because with me is Alyson White, who attends Rancho Mirage High School, and she brought this issue to me as the winning submission in There Ought to Be a Law contest in my district. So I'd like to introduce Alyson.
Chair and committee members, my name is Alyson White, and I propose this bill, SB 1395, to give animals of all breeds, shapes, and sizes a voice. I think it's important that all animals should be treated with respect and love. I've seen some cases of abuse from volunteering at my local no-kill shelter, and I've seen how the animals are forgiving of everyone around them. In most cases, they don't hold grudges against the monsters that abuse them. I wanted to make sure that I could help do my part in being a voice for these animals, and I hope to further my part by pursuing a career at working with animals. I think that it is important to make sure that these animals get the justice that they deserve, and people understand that California takes animal abuse and torture seriously. Thank you, and I urge your support of this bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Great. Thank you very much, Alyson. Appreciate you being here. Hope you're having fun in this adventure.
Thank you.
It's our first time, and her mom is here too, first time in the state capitol.
Oh,
we
that's
flew them up
fantastic.
here. It's been a very special day having her.
Make sure you get the A tour from your senator of all the special places. All right, very good. Are there other witnesses in favor of this bill?
Good afternoon. My name is Lisa Wuryu. I live in Sacramento, and I am a member of an animal organization called Their Cries, Our Voice. We attend trials of animal abusers, and I'd like to tell you that I've been to trials where animal abusers have been found guilty, and at the sentencing hearing, the judge has lamented. He's been very disappointed the penalties, the jail and prison penalties for animal abuse, even at the top level, are so low. So I respectfully ask you to approve this bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Jenny Beckham on behalf of Their Cries, Our Voice, and from Mather, California, and we support this bill. Thank you.
Thank you.
I am Gail Cook, also with Their Cries, Our Voice, totally in favor of this bill. Right now, it's just a slap on the wrist. We're not getting anywhere. We're not putting forth the right message to the community by allowing very short sentences or none at all. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any other witnesses in favor? All right, are there witnesses in opposition to this bill? Please come forward.
Good afternoon, Natasha Minsker on behalf of the ACLU of California. Unfortunately, we are respectfully opposed. We do understand the intentions behind this bill, and I would like to commend Ms. White for her civic engagement. I also volunteered for the animal shelter in high school, and I hope you keep pursuing that passion for justice. We do believe that the current penalties for this offense are significant already, with carrying up to 3 years of incarceration. As this committee well knows, increasing the severity of the sentence does not actually lead to a greater deterrent effect. It is actually the likelihood of being caught that leads to the deterrent effect. And so although we understand that this is well-intentioned, we believe this bill is not well-designed to achieve its goal, and we urge you to vote no. Thank you.
Very good. Any other witnesses in opposition? All right, seeing no further witnesses in opposition, we'll bring the matter back to the committee for questions or comments. Senator, I appreciate your initiative at the urging of Ms. White to bring the matter before us. You know, one of the things, I'm pretty new to this process, but one of the things that I've begun to learn is that the fines that we see, it's like the sticker price is not really always the sticker price in terms of
Right.
what somebody is subjected to. And I don't know if you're aware, but I could certainly ask staff the question that when we talk about a fine of $20,000, which is what's in place today, and we move it to $40,000, what does that really mean at the end of the day for what someone would be assessed? Yeah, are you familiar with that, or should I ask staff to weigh in?
As far as all the ancillary charges that are added onto that, I would defer to staff on that.
Very good.
The penalty assessments that exist are approximately 310%. So a $20,000 fine today is really closer to $84,000, slightly more in some counties, slightly less in other counties, and a $40,000 fine would actually be $164,000.
Okay. I know that the challenge for me is because certainly I've always had animals growing up and into adulthood, and I know how special they are. And I think one of the challenges that we face on this committee, and you know this well, is this issue of proportionality. What's the right balance that acts as a deterrent, that provides the appropriate fine in a case of guilt, and how we weigh those things are very challenging for us because on one hand, people can make mistakes, and we want them to be able to be responsible for those mistakes, yet and own up to those mistakes, yet still be in a position to become an active member of our society again, whether it's the time we ask them to spend in jail or the fines that we charge them with in regard to these different types of crimes. And so that's the thing that I struggle with here, because I certainly agree with your intentions and your desire to protect our animals from abuse, and those who would engage in this type of conduct are people that deserve to be penalized in some significant ways. And so the challenge for me is that we have in place these penalties today and fines, and as the consultant has indicated, they're a lot higher than what it appears to be now. And whether or not this is really something that we should increase. And that's the dilemma for me. Is this going too far? I don't know if you're familiar, or the witness is familiar, of how many times these charges have been filed here in California in the last year or two or three or four or five, and how often these assessments and these penalties are being charged. Do you have any familiarity with that?
Well, I can just tell you that in our county, in the county of Riverside, our animal services department is very proactive. And we've seen, I think, a minimum of abuses. Not saying that we don't have them, because we have such a strong department that goes out and educates people about the ramifications of animal abuse. So I can appreciate your concerns, but I think that this is going to make some headlines that we are very serious about animal abuse in the state of California. And what I might suggest, if it's okay with the chair, that maybe we put a 3-year sunset on this, and let's come back retrospectively and see how the crime of torturing and killing our animals has been affected by this law, if it has truly done what the author and I had hoped that it would do, and that is minimize the suffering and the killing of animals in the state of California. I would be happy with that type of an amendment if that would please the chair.
I see. Senator, I appreciate that thoughtfulness and that constructive suggestion. I think that, again, the challenge that we face is that, at least for me at least, I can't speak for the other members of the committee, and I know they'd be here if they weren't occupied with other obligations, is that to set these kinds of new penalties in place, that I know for me, I'd like to know that where there's a problem. Not just that we care about the subject matter, and it could be about animals, or it could be about other people who commit crimes, that for me at least is that do we have a clear indication of a problem where what we have in place isn't working, and that because of this change, it's going to provide an improvement, a deterrent. It's going to make people be more responsible or be held more accountable. And so, at least from a general practice of making laws, it's not just the issue of this is something we care a lot about, let's go ahead and add enhancements to it, just because we care so much. And so, without some clear information about why we have a problem, it's difficult for me to support a bill like this, even with your constructive suggestion of a 3-year sunset. But with that, I'm going to continue to give it some thought, and our colleagues may have other thoughts as the bill continues to be reviewed today. And with that, I welcome your close.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I do appreciate your comments, and I want to thank Alyson for coming up to the state capitol and seeing how we propose laws and how we vote them into law, and sometimes we aren't successful. I agree with you that that we should have zero tolerance for torturing animals, and this law would only make it commensurate for the same penalties that we impose on those that are accused of domestic violence. And I can tell you that as a compounding pharmacist, when people come into my pharmacy, they will often complain about the price of drugs for humans. But when it comes to their pets, no matter how expensive of the drug it is, they are passionate about their pets. They love their pets, and they'll do anything they can to ease their burdens and make them healthy. I think people at home in the state of California don't want to see pets tortured, and while this may be a little bit more draconian, I think that it sends a message that the state of California really has zero tolerance for those that would abuse animals. And I hope that you'll consider voting for this bill, and I will urge the committee's aye vote.
Fantastic, Senator. Thank you very much. I certainly can reach 3 clear conclusions from the testimony and the hearing today. Number one is that it's great to see the County of Riverside being so concerned as you are with the condition and the potential abuse of animals. That means you're living in a special place that care about all of our living things, and I think that's something to appreciate. Number two is that we have a very special young woman who has stepped up in a really big way with very constructive and thoughtful suggestions for us here as policymakers in Sacramento to always think about how we can make our world a better place. And to Alyson, congratulations to you for your success with your idea, and I hope that this experience has been a positive one for you. And the final conclusion is that, Alyson, you have a very special senator, and Senator Stone representing you. We see him almost every day up here. You may not see him as much, being a forceful advocate for his community, both the 2-legged kind and the 4-legged kind, as we certainly have seen here today. So with that, I thank you and ask if there's any further action from the committee on this measure.
Thank you for your kind comments, Mr. Chairman.
Did he move it? No. Sounds good. What if I don't? Okay, so what I'm going to do as a courtesy, I'm going to move the bill, and so we can have a roll, and we'll hold it open for other members, if that's okay?
Thank you,
and I will
Senator.
move the bill and ask the secretary to call the roll.
Hancock, Glazer, Leno, Lou, Monning, Stone.
Aye.
Stone, aye.
Okay, so we're going to hold that roll open.
Thank you.
We'll allow the other members to come back in, and if they choose to vote on the bill, to vote on the bill. Thank you very much to both of you for presenting.